Namaskar. Welcome to Conversations with Rakesh. Here's today's question. Rakesh, I'm a manager in a very big company. The attrition rates in my sector are very high. It's hard to find loyal candidates. They leave at the drop of the hat. How do I retain employees? Let's understand this question from two perspectives. The first is the word loyalty, and the second is the word retain, because it's very important for us to first disconnect the two. My sincere request to whoever has asked this question and to all you managers out there is to delete the word loyalty from your dictionaries in the context of employees who want to work with you. You cannot measure loyalty by the number of years that they spend with you. And I'll tell you why. You know, there is this amazing movie called Titanic, right? And it's a famous real life incident. And I'm not going to go to the actors and the protagonists of this movie, but I'll focus on the captain of Titanic. He was the last person to be on that ship and went down with the ship. He did not leave the ship because that's who he was. His definition was that I'm the captain. There are thousands of people on my ship who are still with me. I can't leave them and rescue myself. So he stood there and he drowned with the ship. Now, that is an amazing definition of loyalty. But now, let me tell you a story. One of my learners who is in our programs told me that, sir, I was in this company. The company was doing very badly. My manager called all of us in this room and said he's leaving. And this is loyalty. Now, if you look at it from this employee's perspective, this is the problem that the corporates have, that the employees feel that the managers are not loyal. The company's stakeholders are not loyal. So why would we be loyal? So please disconnect and delete this word. It's very complicated. And definitely don't bother about the number of years an employee spends with you and then connect it to loyalty. Leave that aside. Now let's look at the second problem that you have, which is a problem that many of us face, the whole world is facing, employee retention. Last year, there was this massive news article that came and it is picking up steam now again. It was called the Great Resignation in America. Millions of people resigned. Millions of people are not coming back because of pandemic. They are lost. There is a huge demand from industry, tons of jobs available, nobody coming. And India has another problem, that India has the attrition problem, that there are certain sectors, technology, healthcare, retail, where there are more resignations happening because there are better opportunities. Good talent is being paid. VCs are pumping money in this sector, fintech and all that stuff. So talent is being attracted by more and more money, so there's a huge attrition. Now, there is one more thing I want to talk about. And if any of you want to do a good analysis on this great resignation and attrition, Palki Sharma's video, The Gravitas Plus, has done a brilliant analysis. And she talks about worldwide phenomena. I'll introduce one more element to this complicated system, and that element is the great disillusionment of an Indian employee. What is the great disillusionment of an Indian employee? That when an employee goes to this big company, their expectations and dreams are very different because the website of this company and the ads and the way they showcase is, we will get you and you will innovate and change the world. And this employee goes and he thinks, ki, now I'm going to make a rocket that will go to Mars. Because that's how the whole ads and narratives have been showed to them. Now, this employee goes inside and he's disillusioned by three things. One, the work that they are made to do is absolutely terrible. They don't find it meaningful. The promise was different. The reality is different. I have been in Indian companies and I can tell you many of these Indian multinationals don't do good work. They do very second and third hand work. The best work is done in the head office. Bug fixing quality was given to Indian engineers. And we know that because it's cost arbitrage and it saves costs. And this is how business happens. Nothing wrong in it. But the promises made by these companies to employees is that you'll do cutting edge product innovation and R&D. But the reality is you're doing bug fixing and quality control. So the employees become disillusioned. So they find the work meaningless. So the first thing that causes disillusionment in employees is I don't find my work meaningful. The second point where employees get very disillusioned is their relationship with their immediate manager. Many of the managers don't know how to communicate, they don't know how to collaborate, their own actions and the culture are very different. Some of them call them ki there is urgent client meeting, everything is urgent, if you don't do it, client will go away. So they bring their pressures on the employees. If the employee is leaving at 6 o'clock, they'll say you're going so early, and the manager is staying till 10 o'clock. Weekends, there is no respite from the manager. They'll call ki boss urgent meeting chalo. So this manager is putting all their headache on the employees, and the employees are tired and they are completely demotivated because of the behavior of this manager. And the third part is the environment in the company can be very, very toxic. The collaborations are very weak. The interdisciplinary, interdepartment issues are very bad. So they don't feel needed and connected by anyone in the organization. So they end up sitting with their best friends in the cafeteria or joining Zoom calls that are completely meaningless. In fact, one of my friends has a very nice way of surviving the corporate world. जूम कॉल गूगल मीट होता है तो वो क्या करता है म्यूट कर लेता है एंड इज ऑन हिज ट्रेडमिल. वो उसने ईयरफोन वगैरह ले रखे हैं ब्लूटूथ वाले और ट्रेडमिल पे मस्ती से अपनी एक्सरसाइज कर रहा है व्हेन दीज मीनिंगलेस सेंसलेस जूम कॉल्स आर हैपनिंग. वीडियो ऑफ एंड he'll say कि some technical problem network problem वीडियो ऑफ. एंड हाउ डज ही मेक हिज प्रेजेंस फेल्ट? 20 मिनट बाद वो अपने आप को अनम्यूट करता है. ही लिसन्स टू समथिंग एंड ही इंटरप्ट्स. आई एम सॉरी, आर यू सेइंग दैट समथिंग समथिंग समथिंग? ही रिपीट फॉर द लास्ट 1 minute जो भी बोला गया था. सो हियर्स माय क्वेश्चन, हाउ विल यू प्लान टू सॉल्व दिस प्रॉब्लम? एंड देन ही गोज ऑन म्यूट अगेन एंड ही डज हिज ट्रेडमिल. एंड एवरीबडी थिंक्स कि बहुत काम कर रहा है बट ही इज एंजॉयिंग हिमसेल्फ. नाउ दिस इज really bad. This is loyalty to the worst definition. Retention to an employee who should not be there. So here's my request to you that please look at employee disillusionment. This is the great disillusionment of Indian corporate sector. And this is where your role as a manager is very critical. So I'll give you some requests and suggestions. Step number one, please be honest with your employees. Tell them that, hey, we do shitty work, but all work is important. And if you can join us and work with us, maybe there is a great benefit we'll all get out of it. In fact, there's this beautiful story of NASA where there was a janitor, and one of the presidents asked the janitor, or somebody asked the janitor a question that, what's your role? And the janitor says that my job is to put a man on the moon. And this is the dignity of labor that that organization would have created, because the janitor, the person who cleans the bathrooms, feels connected with the mission of the organization. That's how great organizations are created. In fact, India has one such great organization called ISRO, where they believe in this. And everybody is aligned to the mission very, very well. So they find the work meaningful. भले ही वो टंकी साफ करने वाला काम क्यों ना हो, but the way the employee feels connected with the mission of the organization is a meaning that they derive from their work. And you as a manager have to make this happen. That be honest, don't promise them moon, stars. Tell them कि यार ये कचरा वाला काम है, करना पड़ेगा. मैं भी करूंगा तेरे साथ. And make it meaningful. Employees would love it. In fact, there is hardly any organization where everybody will do sexy work all the time. Most of the work is very ordinary, boring, but make it meaningful. Help this person realize that their work will add value to the company. So that is step number one. Step number two, you as a manager have to really improve your communication and collaboration. The employees are looking at you. आप जो करोगे वो absorb करेंगे. And if you have a unauthentic way of communication, if your actions and promises are different, they stop trusting you, they get disillusioned by you. And there is this famous quotation that employees don't change jobs, they change managers, which is true. So please look at your own behavior, your own communication, your own leadership skills, and invest in them heavily Please be a lot more empathetic. Please listen to your employees. Help them design their jobs. Give them flexibility. There's plenty of research that now tells us that if you help employees in their jobs and families and help them live a good balance, and you role model that शाम के 6 बजे के बाद मैं भी घर जाऊंगा, तुम भी घर जाओ, सैटरडे संडे को रेस्ट करेंगे, I think the employees would love to work with you. And if you can go to the customer meeting and fight with the customer, protect your employees, they love you for that. पर most of managers क्या करेंगे? Customer चिल्लाएगा, employees को direct line. But जब award मिलेगा, the manager will go and take it. Please don't do all this. I think your role is very critical and you have to invest in your leadership. And the last is please help your organizations become a lot more collaborative. ये सारे जो retention budgets of pizza, party in the quarter, games, complete waste of time. Instead, find a way to make an organization a lot more respectful for the employees, a lot more safer for the employees. भले ही आपके पास ग्लास फसाड नहीं है, फ्री कॉफी नहीं है, 25 तरह के लंच बुटीक्स नहीं है, I don't think employees care for it beyond a point. There's plenty of research that says that beyond the point, salaries and benefits don't matter to people. What matters is they want to feel needed. They want to feel safe and cared for. They want to be have a meaningful work in that organization, and they want to have a good equation with the manager. So if you as a manager can create this dynamic of an organization where you're honest, involve people in meaningful activities, role model good leadership principles and character and communication and collaboration, and finally create a safe place for them, I think employees will never go away. They will be there till the time you and them can make a meaningful existence. So it's time for all of us in India and the Indian corporate sector to look at the great disillusionment very, very carefully. We have an opportunity thanks to pandemic COVID-19 to recreate these things when the pandemic becomes a lot more in control so that our employees feel proud that they are working with us. They find their jobs meaningful, they find the managers inspiring, and they find their colleagues trustworthy friends and relationships that they will never leave. I think you'll create a great organization for the future. Stay safe.